fuel. Liquid costs what you got to spend. What it cost me to run stuff. So a couple days ago, Jake brought back the Blockbuster B18 Firewood processor, and I've been busy doing some deliveries and other things. So that was 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Took my tractor in to get fixed, spent a bunch of money there. And then just now today, I got here, it's the end of the week, and I'm gonna do some processing for tomorrow's video you're gonna see. But I'm getting everything ready to do the processing. And when I do that, I basically make sure I've got fuels all filled up, the processor, the tractor, my splitter, my elevator. I grease everything with the grease gun. And I was just thinking as I was doing that, because I emptied a whole bunch of jugs, what it cost to run this stuff. And that's something that a lot of people never talk about. What does it cost to run the machine? So the first thing we're going to talk about is this machine does not use hydraulic fluid. It uses ATF. It is in this tank right here. And I think this is a 30, maybe it's a 50-gallon tank. I'm not sure. 40? 40 is my guess. I'm guessing 40 because I know this is 25. So I'm guessing that's 40, is bigger. So yeah, it uses ATF Dextron 3. You can use hydraulic fluid and you can actually dump it right in here and mix it. And it's not an issue. I talked to Jake about it and he said, yeah, you can just right in there. The nice thing about this ATF is that it is also used for the bar oil. Yes, it's all one system. So I don't have to add any bar oil. There's no separate container for that. So it just uses the ATF. They found that in talking with Jeff and some of the other engineers at Blockbuster, they thought the lubricity, is that the word? Lubricity? I think that's the word. And the use in the bar oil works fantastic. And that's what Blockbuster has done since day one, way back in the 80s when they started building these things. So it actually uses the red stuff, as you can see here. And it works great. So not an issue. Now, when I buy this stuff, I buy it in 2-gallon jugs, or is it 5-gallon jugs? 2 or 5-gallon jugs. And I buy it at a local man's mall called Fleet Farm here. If they don't have it, you don't need it. And when I buy it, if I remember correctly, it is, I want to say it's around $10 a gallon. And I go through, if I run all day long, I might go through a gallon. So there's that cost. So maybe 10 bucks a day for the ATF, the bar oil. The nice thing about it is because it's using this same system for the bar oil, you're constantly putting new stuff in. You're constantly refreshing it. So you don't have it go bad to where you got to drain it, put all new stuff in. You're just putting new stuff in all the time. All you got to really do is change the filters occasionally. However long, right there's the filter. And then there's the diesel fuel. And this is a 25-gallon tank. Now, I just went and I grabbed my jugs and I filled it up. And I should have marked it before I filled it because right here is where it was and right there is where it is now. So that's 5 gallons from there to there. And that's what I've done in the past. Before I put in another 5 gallons after I run this thing tomorrow, what I'm going to do is when I get done, I will take a magic marker, a Sharpie, and I will mark the level it is at. I'll make a mark, and then I will fill it up, 5 gallons, not fill it up, I'll put 5 gallons in, I'll make another mark. And then I'll measure that distance, and then I'll make marks for every 5 gallons, and that'll tell me kind of what I'm consuming as I'm using it. So I've done that in the past, and it seems to work pretty good. So when I'm running all day long, if I remember correctly, this machine might use 10 gallons in a day if I'm running all day. I don't remember because we haven't run it that much yet. Some of the other machines definitely use less fuel, but you're running longer to produce the same amount of wood, so it really all works out. So there's the cost not only in the diesel fuel, but in the ATF. And then over here I've got my tractor. I just filled that up. I just put in a 5-gallon jug into the tractor. And then I also filled up my splitter, the Wolf Ridge 17RS, and that obviously takes gas, but I put premium in. I do not use corn gas, as they say. And then I also have my elevator out there. That also has the same Honda engine that my splitter has, and that is the 270 Honda engine, and that takes premium also. All my small engines, my lawnmowers, trimmers, chainsaws, all these little Honda engines I have on these machines, I use premium, no corn, ethanol. Don't want that. I want the good stuff. I want no ethanol gas because I don't want any issues. No. So when I build all this stuff up, I'm looking at it thinking like, wow, I got a lot of jugs here. So I kind of added up in my mind what I'm spending on this stuff. So here we go. These are my diesel jugs, the yellow ones. I've got 3 of them, which works fine because what I do is I will fill up the processor, I will fill up my tractor, and then when my jugs are empty, I just go get 15 more gallons because they're 5-gallon jugs. And then they last me long enough that I don't need a big container because I don't use that much. I might get one more jug, and that way I'll have 20 gallons on hand all the time. And I try to keep my machines full all the time. When I'm done using machine, like I just filled up the splitter and I filled up the elevator back there, I fill them up right away. So $5 a gallon, we're just going to say, I know it's a little more than that right now, but we're just going to say $5 a gallon, 5 gallons. So 25, 25, 25. Same for the premium. It's around $5 a gallon, and there's 5-gallon jugs. And I have one other one at my business I got to pick up. So really there's going to be 3 of those also. And then this is my mixed gas. That's why I have the pink tape on there. I know that is my mixed gas for my trimmers and mainly my chainsaws. So these 2 are empty. They're 2.5-gallon jugs. This one is full. I filled that one up. But I do have one other one. So again, I have 4 of those. So if all 4 of them are empty, that means that I've got another $50 worth of fuel going into them. And I also have the mix oil going in there. And the mix oil is, I'm just going to guess, $5 for a container, something like about $5 for each one of those. So if I fill all 4 of my 2.5-gallon jugs up with premium and put in the mix oil, I am at probably around, I would say $60 or something like that because of the fuel. So that's $60. And then this is a container that actually has bar oil in it. It's a 2-gallon jug. And I pay about $7 a jug. I mean, $7 a gallon. So that's like a $14, $15 jug. The 2-gallon one is what I usually will buy. It's just easier to carry, and then I put it into smaller containers when you need it. So you got bar oil too. So we're just going to pretend here that all this is empty. So 25, 50, 75, 100, 125. Then I got another one I'm going to be picking up. That's 150. And then this here is going to be, just say, another 50. So, no, another 25 because of the 2 in the mix. So that would be 175. And then I've got one other 2.5 container. If that was empty, that would be another $50. So I'm at about $200 plus my bar oil. And it's not unusual in a 1 week of work, that I'll empty them all out and then start all over again. So a couple $100 a week is not that unusual. And that's not even the expensive one. The expensive one is Babe, Blue Babe out there. Yes, the Chevy, the 3/4 ton truck. It's a thirsty girl. She likes to drink. When I'm driving on the highway, not towing, not hauling anything, I've gotten just a little over 16 twice now. It's always about 15.7 to 16.3, somewhere in there is what I get. That's the best mileage I get with it. If I'm around town, it's 12 to 13, somewhere in there. If I'm towing, it's 11, 10 and a half, 11 and a half, somewhere right in there. So it uses fuel. And to top it off, it's got a 36-gallon tank, I want to say. It's either 35 or 36. So when it's empty, ka-ching. Yeah, it's not unusual for me. If I go to the gas station and I need to fill my truck up because it's empty, and I have to fill all of these up, it's not unusual for me to spend $300. $280, $270, $260, it happens. Yes. And I've never broke 300 yet. I hope I don't ever have to do, well, not ever. I hope I don't have to. One time when I got fuel, I was at the station, and the attendant, it was a young high school kid, he says, man, he says, am I glad I don't have to pay for your fuel? He says, that's expensive. I said, yeah, it is. I said, they don't give it away. I said, but on the other hand, if I am using a lot of fuel, I'm actually making a lot of money. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, well, if I have to stop here every week and spend $250 just to keep all my machines running, doing all my deliveries, processing all the wood, the more gas I buy means that I'm cutting, splitting, selling more wood. So I guess if I could pay a couple $1,000s a week, that means I'd be selling a lot of wood. So it's not bad to spend money when you're being productive. Now, if I was just spending the money on recreational type stuff, you know, if I was out boating or if I was RVing and pulling a car and traveling the country, yeah, your money's going to disappear fast. But this has a return to it. So I don't mind spending money on fluids. I really don't. It's not that much fun, but the big one is when I get home and my wife says, "Did you just spend $270 at the gas station? What did you buy?" You know, because I'll get that question. It's like, yeah, I got fuel. I filled all the containers up, I filled the truck up, and there you go. So there's days when I'll do a delivery and say it's, you know, a delivery and it's a $300 wood order, and then I need to fill all my containers up and fill my truck up, and I'll spend $300. So I broke even that day. It happens. And I know a lot of you are in the same boat, but that's the way it is now. Fuel prices are coming down. They have been coming down for a while now. They're about $1 less than what they were at their peak, and it needs to come down about $1 more to be reasonable, in my opinion. My opinion is that it's very reasonable anytime your fuel is under $3 a gallon, diesel and gas included. If you were at, like, say, $2.50 for regular gasoline and your diesel is $3.50, it's pretty reasonable because of what everything else costs. So it's not the end of the world to spend money on fuel if you're being productive with it, But if you're just out having fun, well, good luck with that. And then there's the cost that you have to spend on oil changes, oil filters, maintenance, that kind of stuff. And then there's grease. None of it is given away for free. It all costs money. I just took my tractor, and as you guys know, I mentioned that, I did get all the fluids changed on this. They did a flush of the antifreeze, the cooling system on it. They did a complete fluid change on everything that there is to do on it, changed all the filters. And that whole thing, when you do all of that, it's $650 just for the cost of the materials for that, all the fluids and filters. So there's some cost involved in maintaining this stuff that very few people talk about. And it's a real thing, and it's part of the things you have to consider in when you're pricing your product. If you're not planning on doing maintenance, you're going to have problems eventually. If you don't keep stuff oiled and greased and fueled up, you will have issues. So you got to take care of the stuff. If you take care of your machines, they will take care of you. So there's all that cost you got to spend on all this. And tomorrow when you come back, we're going to be starting up the processor. What I'm going to do is I'll rejigger this. We're going to move the processor actually this direction. Right now I'm going to do it. You're going to see it tomorrow though. But I'm going to move the processor over this direction because I want my tongue to be about right here. And I want my elevator to be kind of that direction, but just this way farther and this way farther. So I've got room to work around it. Because I want to be efficient with my space, I don't have to get at this pine here yet. This is spruce and red pine and balsam fir. I don't need to get at this, but this wood right here is wet stuff. I want to get at that, and then all this I want to get at. So I want to start processing this and that and that, and then this whole section here will be cleared off, and that'll give me a lot more room for the processor moving around. That ash has got to get done. Over there's a bunch of white oaks got to get done. There's a whole bunch of ash over there it's got to get done. So there's a lot of work that's going to be happening with the processor and the elevator and filling bins and all that stuff. And you're going to see it tomorrow when you come back at 5:30 a.m. I'm going to be here waiting for you, so you better show up. That's all I got for today, folks. See you tomorrow morning. Good night, Irene.